Let's brood upon the work of the Holy Spirit. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Language of Life for Little Learners. This is your favorite Bible nerd, R.A. Sweeney. Today, I want to talk about what the Spirit of God is doing in the first couple verses of Genesis. And there's really not much consensus on the way that we translate what this thing that the Holy Spirit is doing, or the Spirit of God is how he's identified in that passage. There's not a lot of consensus about what exactly it is that the Spirit is doing there. Sometimes it'll be translated hovering, sometimes will be resting, fluttering. Lots of different words get used, and it's kind of a tough word to translate into just one English word. But the Hebrew word that we're dealing with here in this passage, the word is merachefet, but it comes from the word Rakhaf. And so that's what we're going to kind of focus on is what does the word Rakhaf mean? Because the merachefet just means that it was Rakhafing. So if you guys want to say it with me, I'm going to slow it down a little bit so you can hear it, and then you guys can say it with me. So it is Rakhaf with a little bit of sort of noise in the middle there. Rakhaf. Say it with me. Rakhaf. And so I translate this word as brooding, which is a pretty old Englishy sort of way. It's one of the more traditional ways that this was translated in older English sorts of contexts. And we don't use the word brooding a lot in English, but it's the word that I've latched onto, and I kind of like it because I feel like it kind of captures the other ideas into it. Because when we look at how it gets translated, like I said earlier, it can mean hovering, it can be resting, it can be fluttering, trembling, shaking. Like, how is trembling, shaking, fluttering the same as resting? Because those, at least to me, those are very different ideas. And so I like the word brooding because when you think of a bird brooding, it means it's taking care of its eggs, or its young, or whatever the case may be, like its brood of offspring, it's taking care of them. So it can be sitting on them. It can be, like hovering over. Obviously, it's not going to be just like crushing them, but it's kind of just like gently upon the top of it. There's going to be preening, there's going to be feeding, there's going to be all the things that go along with just that aspect of brooding over the offspring there. And that's really what we're seeing here. So the word Rakhaf only gets used in 3 different places in all of the Old Testament. It's a Hebrew word, so it's only in the Old Testament. It only gets used in 3 different places. 2 of the 3 are using sort of like bird metaphor. And so it's a very bird-like sort of word. The third one, it has that idea of kind of just like fluttering or trembling or whatever. Like it's kind of like working over the top of something. So all in all, it's really this idea of not resting like taking a nap, but like I'm settled on something gently and I'm working, I'm moving around, I'm doing things. So it's not a at rest sort of moment. It's more of a gentle settling on something. Which is still a little bit confusing for our context, but I think with that bird idea, like it's resting, trying to nurture and protect and raise its offspring, at least kind of makes sense. So here in Genesis 1, the Spirit is just kind of like nestled on top of the waters, trying to bring about offspring from it to produce life. And so there's that. At the same time, you can look at how this word was translated into Greek in the Septuagint. In this passage, the word that gets used in Greek is epiphero, which is actually 2 Greek words smooshed together. So epi meaning upon, and pharaoh meaning to bear. So it's bearing upon something. Sometimes it gets translated as like inflict or something like that, but it's working in a way to produce an outcome from something, which is back to that word brooding. The bird is brooding, trying to bring offspring to maturity. But it's interesting. I feel like the coolest thing that I found when I've researched this is that epiphero, the Greek translation of this word, gets used in the Noah's Ark story. So the ark is not described using Rakhaf, but it is described using this epiphero translation. And so when it was translated into Greek, they connected that the ark kind of like on top of the water, being tossed around, moving, shaking, all of those things, and then settling down and producing a garden of new life in this purified world is meant to be kind of paralleling that same sort of idea. So I think putting those two next to each other really kind of helps understand it. It's this like waiting, patient, there's expectation, there's a plan for where it's going, but the time isn't quite right for anything to happen yet. So we're just kind of biding our time, taking care of what we have until the time's right for something to emerge that will be new life in abundance. So together, I feel like that kind of brings together a cool picture of how this word gets used and what its meaning is there. You have to go through both Hebrew and Greek to really see all of that, but that's the beauty of the Bible, is that we have the Old Testament in Hebrew, but then we have this really, really old translation that has a great tradition of its accuracy and trustworthiness that helps us connect different things in different ways with different ideas. So that is our word Rakhaf in Hebrew, or epiphero in Greek. And like I said, I translate it as brooding, but it's that idea of nurturing something gently to try to bring forth life and abundance at the appropriate time. That's what we have for this week. I hope it's a blessing. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time here on Language of Life for Little Learners. Thanks everyone.